Divorce Dad Diaries, day 130, and today I'm making Snickers brownies again. So after an early start, went and got my typical iced latte at McDonald's and then popped over and had a 9 a.m. Pilates class, specifically Reformer, and then it was back home to get started on my brownies. So this time I'm going to be increasing the recipe by about 50%, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook each sheet of brownies separately, 2 separate sheets, and then I'm going to add the raw caramel in the middle so that it's still nice and gooey and runny. If you're interested in the recipe, I'll just attach the ingredients here. First off, I'm measuring 300 grams of butter and chocolate straight into the pot. One thing that I'm doing differently this time is that instead of using full compound butter for the whole recipe, I'm going to use half a block of Whittaker's Dark Ghana and then use the other half as the regular compound chocolate. Make sure to chop up your butter for it to melt faster. I forgot again this time, but yeah, we got there in the end. And then we get that on the element to start melting down. While that's doing that thing, then I start mixing all the other ingredients. 1.5 cups of brown sugar, 4 eggs, 3/4 of a cup of flour, and 3/8 of a cup of cocoa powder. Yes, I know, I just did a heaped 1/4 cup. I figured that was good enough. Loosely mix that together with my broken whisk. I seriously need to get a new one. I keep forgetting that mine is broken. And then made sure to check on my melting chocolate and butter. Make sure you keep stirring that to get that all mixed together. And then put a little bit into the mixture. I didn't want to scramble my eggs, so I didn't want to immediately put a hot mixture in. So I put a little bit in, mix it together, then pour the rest of it, mix it together, and brownie mixture is done. Now I needed to split it into 2 halves, so I did the same thing I did last time. I weighed out my smaller bowl, zeroed that out, and then I went and weighed the whole mixture. It was about 1.2 kilos, so about 600 grams each. It was 400 grams last time, so 50% bigger. Turns out my maths is all good. So put 600 grams in the other bowl. Doesn't have to be perfect, of course. Nobody's perfect. You know, that's why I was a nobody in high school. From here, I put it onto my lined tray, and then I chucked that in the oven at 180 for about 30 minutes. I wasn't sure how long to cook it for. I think 30 minutes will probably be fine. Guess we'll see. Now, I got quite a few comments yesterday about the date video telling me that I should pay for the date because I took her out on the date, I invited her, and fair enough. I just like to pose a hypothetical, and that is, if a single mum of 4 kids asks someone out on a date, would you expect her to pay? Because if the answer is no, then the only reason you're telling me to pay is because I'm a man. So it's all cool to have preferences, I understand that. A few people said I'd prefer it if the man paid for me, and I'm like, that's cool, that's you. But this is probably going to sound controversial, but I do not give a single shit about gender norms, and frankly, I never have. If a woman wants to pay for the date, she should be able to. If a man wants to pay to the date, he should be able to. If they want to split, they can do that too. In the end, it's a free society. We want to be equal, so let's all have equal choice to do what we want to do. And I've always been like this when I reflect back on previous relationships. Most of the women approached me. In fact, in this instance, the woman I went on a date with, she messaged me first on Tinder. The other day I went on a couple of weeks ago, again, she messaged me first. So you know? And I know there's expectations. My ex-wife was saying the other day, Daniel, you need to be messaging the woman first. And I'm like, no, too stubborn. But I realised as soon as I finished filming this that I somehow got chocolate all over my hoodie. Don't know how that happened. So chucked that in the wash, got dressed, and then the brownie was done after 30 minutes. So I took that out, managed to very carefully get it out of the very hot tray, and then load the second load of brownie in there, get that in the oven for another 30 minutes. When the second one was done and they were both cooling down, then I got started on the caramel, which is just a really simple can of condensed sweetened milk with 60 grams of butter, a couple tablespoons of golden syrup. Unfortunately, I didn't actually have any golden syrup. I forgot that I ran out last time I did this, so I just ended up using the sugar syrup that I made for my coffees. Figured that will do the same trick. Stir that constantly until it starts catching on the bottom of the pot, and then take that out. And this is where things got a little bit messy, so I probably should have waited for the caramel to cool down a bit more. So I flipped over the first brownie sheet to the so the flat side was on the top, poured the caramel over, and very quickly realised that I had too much caramel, or at least it was too runny. But have no fear, chucked the crushed peanuts on, and then thought, you know what, let's just chuck the rest of the caramel on, see what happens. And as you can see, it went absolutely everywhere. Chucked the last brownie sheet on top, and then, of course, had to put the final touch on. I forgot to do this last time. Put a bit of icing sugar on. That's how you know it's a brownie, you know, when it's got the little bit of white on top of the brown. So I want to let that sit for a bit, let the caramel firm up a wee bit, let it cool down. But I'm meant to be meeting my friends for another board game day in about 1 hour, and it's a half-hour drive, so I kind of need to get ready for that. So I think I'll just, like, cover it and then it'll be fine by the time I get back. But did the day go well yesterday? So, yeah, here's the thing. I said, let's turn up at 9 a.m. because the penguin feeding is at 10 a.m., right? We got there at 9 a.m., sat down at the cafe, ordered coffees, and we talked for so long that we missed the penguin feeding at 10 a.m. So, yeah, we vibed. Now that I've had time to think about it, I think part of the reason I freaked out so much about the keys is because I was putting a lot of pressure on myself, I guess, to be on, like, my best behaviour. So I got caught off guard, and it just sort of threw me through a loop. But, like, I really, it wasn't an issue. Thing is, we established at that point that we wanted to go on a second date, and I've already said I wanted to take her out for dinner, so that's what we're going to do. But I'm going to go play some board games, and then we'll see how that brownie tastes. So it was over to St. Albans. I made sure to bring the Cluedo, my second-hand copy, which fortunately had all the pieces in it. So that was fun. I actually won, just. And then, of course, we played some Uno as well. Went for a bit of a nice walk in the afternoon sun. And then finally, it was back home. Right, so back home now. This is actually crazy. Messy. Oh, my God. But I have to chop this and try this. So the brownie already feels quite firm. Might need 25 minutes instead of 30 minutes. I'll put that on the recipe card in the beginning. So messy. Oh my God, but it's so good though. This is even better than it was last time. I'm actually blown away by how good that is. Yeah, less time on the brownie, so it's a bit softer, I reckon. But other than that, phenomenal. It's like the end of the day now, so I'm going to put my feet up, enjoy the rest of my Sunday, and I will catch you back here on the flip side.